And good afternoon, BounceBack Network, and welcome to the 10th episode of Global Entrepreneurship. I'm Sam Jacoba on behalf of my colleague and founder of BounceBack Network, Jason De La Rosa. Welcome. This afternoon is rainy Wednesday afternoon. I'm joined by my friend from Global Chamber, Colin Christie. Good afternoon, Colin. How are you?
Hey Sam, how are you?
Great stuff. Right. So I hope that there's no flood in your area because it's orange rainfall in Metro Manila today. So yep. And Colin, I'm happy that on our 10th and final episode for season one, we're joined by our good friend from South Africa, Dishen. How are you, Dishen?
Yes, good to be back. Hello, Sam and Colin. How are you doing?
Definitely. It's winter there, right? So that's why you're wearing a jacket, man. So
Definitely. And we're experiencing some polar winds later this evening, so it could get a bit icy. Actually, it will
yeah,
get a bit icy.
yeah, great stuff. And green looks good on you. It's like a green jacket, man. For
Oh, thank you. I was actually debating with my wife for green or blue, and then she settled with green, so I decided to go with it.
I know always follow right? So they know better, right? So well, guys, 10 episodes. Like, I cannot fathom that we were starting. We are just talking about this a few months ago, right? And then we launched during the anniversary of BounceBack Network last March, and then here we are. Again, thank you for the support of Global Chamber and the Business Meeting Toolbox TV. On behalf of our entrepreneur community at BounceBack Network, thank you for the wisdom and the knowledge that you and our friends has shared, in all of the 9 episodes. And right now, we're on the 10th episode. So again, Colin, maybe you'd like to, introduce our speaker, to our community. So
Well, thank you, Sam, and thanks to you too, and Back and Jason and all of the team behind the scenes and the partners, which I'm sure we'll recognize at the end of our today's broadcast as well. But it's been an interesting journey around the world. I was just reflecting before we went on air. We've had a speaker from the United States, we've had a speaker from Singapore, we've had, of course, Michelle from South Africa, then of course here we've had folks from Metro Manila, and now we're also today have an excellent speaker coming to us from Mindanao here in the Philippines. So Lycah, we can bring her in. Welcome. So while we're bringing her in, I'll just give a brief intro. Today's topic is going to be around finance. Last week we did the legal topic. Today is finance. A good way to wrap up our season one, because at the end of the day, if you don't pay attention to the numbers of your business, you're going to have problems. So Lycah has a fantastic background. For us, she has been very involved in global trade business. In fact, she holds a bachelor's in commerce and management accounting. And she also has a trade certificate, international trade certificate holder. And now also she has a master's from RMIT. She studied actually in Vietnam for her master's in international business. But I think also what's going to be very interesting for our audience is that she works for the Hinrich Foundation, which is based now out of Singapore, and they work with a lot of SMEs. And we'll give you some links later to the foundation website. I really encourage our audience to check out the work of Hinrich Foundation. They really are doing a phenomenal job all around Southeast Asia, headed by Merle Hinrich, their founder. But Lycah is now also an entrepreneur herself and has a new business called Out of the Box Training and Management Consulting. I'm sure we'll be giving you a link in the chat to that. And she's providing business and professional development training and event management services to the SME community, especially those around the Mindanao area. And we'll definitely, after her presentation, be asking her about what led her to take that leap into her own entrepreneurship and how it's going. So with that, if we can bring in Lycah, Sam, and Lycah, great to have you. Welcome.
hey, Lycah, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that very warm introduction, Colin. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Dishan. The global entrepreneurship, business excellence coaching community. I know that this is a very a very close, initiative to my heart, especially because I've worked with SMEs for over 10 years. 8 to 10 years as of now, and I know that it's really difficult, for small entrepreneurs and also for SMEs to handle the business, especially with the in with a financial low financial literacy, and also like difficulties in terms of managing their finances. So I'm very happy to share, some tips, techniques on how to do that with my talk.
Well, that's excellent. We'll turn the stage over to you, and then we'll rejoin you in a little while when we're done, and we'll have a good chat. So we'll see you in a while, Lycah. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so my topic is basically more about the importance of financial planning for small businesses and entrepreneurs. As mentioned by Colin, it is the last of the 10 session or topics that they have shared since the beginning of May, and it's really good to end, this session with a very interesting topic, mainly because I know that a lot of us can actually relate to it, and also can take away a lot of very important tips and techniques in order to help you move forward with your business, and also to be able to manage your finances properly. So I would like to give a shout out to those people who will be watching this on replay. Who kind of join us this afternoon. I hope that when you watch this, you'll be able to get a lot of takeaways, and be able to connect with me as well if you have questions as I continue with the presentation. So, as mentioned by Colin, I'm the program consultant of the Hinrich Foundation, and I'm also the co-founder and chief financial officer of a new consulting management startup based in Mindanao in the Philippines, called Out of the Box Consulting. And I wanted to share, like a lot of very important information about financial planning, mainly because I wanted to allow you to be able to understand, have an understanding about why is it that financial planning is really important, and also to provide you very practical tips and techniques to do so. Because I know that a lot of SMEs, I've been working with SMEs for 10 more than 8, 10 years, and a lot of them are really afraid or intimidated by working with financial plans. So they think that it's only the account manager or the bookkeeper, or if they hire an accountant, that's the person who's going to do this. Well, it's not going to be the case, because as an entrepreneur, especially as a small entrepreneur and business owner, you need to know how important it is, and you need to at least know how to do it, because your part is very essential in making sure that your company and your business will grow. And financial planning is a very big part of it. So I've arranged my presentation in three parts. So first, we will be discussing about the basics of financial planning. So I will not share with you, some deep dive because of the limited time, but I will be sharing with you some key concepts so that you can easily, like understand why financial planning is really important. And then we move forward to the key message of this presentation. I'll be sharing with you some very important reasons. Why is it important that SMEs or entrepreneurs know how to do financial plans, and also include that in their strategy, when they start their business or what they're doing their business. And finally, the most exciting part is I'll be sharing with you some techniques and templates. So these techniques and templates are free, and you can like access it online. And I hope that it's gonna be like helpful with you. So moving forward, I'm gonna start with sharing with you a very important quote. I really like this quote. This is from one of the authors that I really respect, Venita Van Caspo. She is a CEO, a certified financial planner, and also a registered investment advisor, and also the author of Money Dynamics. So it's a series of book, sort of a handbook about financial planning. And she says that financial planning is actually like navigation. So if you're gonna think of having a business, and if you don't plan, you don't have financial plan, it's like actually like going to a place that you don't know where to. And so it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve your goals. And so you have to make sure that you have a very good financial plan to serve as your navigation, so that you don't have to um, enter or face challenges along the way that you don't know how to resolve. So financial plan is like your navigation tool. So you have to make sure that you have that when you start your own business or when while you are doing your business. So starting with the basics, what is the financial planning? So I'll start with the usual, you know, explanation or definition of what financial plan is. Of course, you can Google it, but the most easy, like explanation of what financial plan is, actually it's an overview of your current financial business financials and also your projections for growth. So if you have an overview of what's happening with your business right now, and you also know when you're going, that's going to be very important because you will also be able to create strategies and create marketing strategies in order to achieve that goal. So it's different from your financial statement. So your financial plan is actually the first step into making sure that you'll be able to achieve your business goals in the financial aspect. And the financial statement is actually just the result of it all. So you always compare your financial plan, which you do in the beginning and you review towards the end of your business, versus the financial statements that you actually generate while you're doing your business. So the financial plan will actually serve as your goal navigator. So as you can see there, it is a tool you have to use to achieve your short and long-term business goals. We'll be talking about sharing about business goals later and how to create, good business goals, smart business goals. And it is like financial planning. When you start your own business and you create a strategic plan, you think about what you want to accomplish. So you have to always think about what you want to accomplish at the start of the year. Then you ask yourself, questions about like, do you want to expand your business? Do you want to add additional products? Do you want to hire new people? And you have to identify what are the effects of these goals, financial or business goals, to your financial when you are going to do that in your operations. So having a clear financial plan will help you, navigate and achieve your goal. The second, like a key element of a financial plan is it serves as a monitoring tool. So a monitoring tool for your performance, and also it allows you to actually gauge your progress and quickly resolve your problems. So if you have a monitoring tool as to what have you achieved at a certain point in time, and be able to like project, like problems that may come in the future, it'll be easier for you to actually have an early warning system. So this early warning system, when you do your projection, will help you plan for cash flow dips. Like there are, seasonality of sales, we call it. There are some months where you won't be able to really sell anything, or you won't be able to actually generate profit. And there are also months wherein you really have good sale goal, you really be able to like cover a portion of your expenses for the long run. And so with a financial plan wherein you can pinpoint in which parts of the year you can have your peaks and your lows, you'll be able to also plan ahead, and make sure that you don't run out of cash in the process. So the most important, like key elements of the financial plan is first the business goals. So I mentioned earlier that when you create a business goal, it has to be smart. You're smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bounded. So you can identify maybe 3 or 5 business goals at the beginning of the year. It can range from, increasing or growing your market share, to paying off your debt, to purchasing a new equipment and increasing your production volume, and so on and so forth. And you have to include the business goals in the projections that you're going to do, in terms of your sales forecast, in terms of your expense forecast, so that you can create, a simple income statement, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. I know it's quite, difficult. Sometimes you will say, it's my account, I was gonna do it. So yes, you can ask the help of your accountant to do the financial statements, projected financial statement that comes that becomes part of your financial plan, but you have to be very, very involved in the creation of your sales forecast and especially your expense forecast. Because more than anyone else, you are the one who actually knows how the business works. And that's when you also need to be more involved in the budgeting process. So the budgeting process basically you have to forecast what money you expect to earn definitely at a certain period, and then you plan where to spend that revenue. So it can be operating expense, it can be other expenses, taxes, for example, purchase of other equipment, etc. And you have to see the difference between your plan and the reality. So if you have a budget, I know like most of us are quite familiar with budgeting. I have a budget for a certain activity, and then I make sure that I operate within that budget. So if your plan, like if your the actual actually exceeds the budget, that's when you will see you will have to revisit and revise your financial plan, and you have to identify the reason why. So why is it that your forecast and your budget is not, like it's quite different from your actual? So it will also help you, plan for future expenses and also plan for future activities of the business. So going to the meat of this presentation, we always ask, in the beginning, like why is it important for SMEs entrepreneurs to do financial plan? Why can't I just do my business right away and then wait until I get, like sales and do my operations and then probably get a profit at the long run? So, well, there are data that are available based on this one I got from the Small Business Association. This is an OECD report that is in 2016. It says that this study suggests low financial literacy level, for SMEs and small entrepreneurs, and also the lack of financial discipline, maybe the reason of their poor track record. So low financial literacy, say for example, you don't really know how to manage your finances and actually do a financial plan. So that's understandable, especially if there are people who just have passion for business, but they don't really have formal education in terms of like doing financial and stuff. Lack of financial discipline is a different thing. It's like they actually know how to do it. It's just that they weren't able to follow, the financial plan that they did, and they overspend. So those two factors, when combined, or if it's being done by an entrepreneur, sometimes it results to a negative, poor track record of the business. Your business might actually shut down. So there's also an information about like inability of SMEs to identify key metrics. So big sales, it's not actually a metric of being your business being a growing business. You have to make sure that the profit ratio of your business, and you have to make sure that your expenses and your profits are actually creating income, and not losses for you. Even if you have a 10 million sales and you have 9 million expenses, I don't think that's going to be a very good financial record. So if you don't know how to identify the key metrics, that's also um, a red flag. And that's why it's important for businesses or small businesses to create a financial plan so that they will be able to like foresee, foresee and forecast sales versus expenses and do something about it when it happens. So there are a lot of, key information in online, and also based on my experience working with SMEs in the Philippines about what are the importance, or what are the benefits of doing a financial plan and actually following it and implementing it. But these five are actually the most basic and one of the most important. So first is, when I mentioned earlier that financial plan is like navigation, is a navigation tool. It provides short and long-term view and a clear business direction. So you know where you're going. You know what are the things that you're going to meet what are the challenges that your business are going to meet in terms of the financial challenges. If you have a financial plan, it can be monthly, quarterly, it can be annual financial plan, and with that you'll be able to also meet your business goals in easier, and you can also like calculate, and you can also like identify the metrics. It is also very important for you to have financial plan because it prevents you from imprudent usage of business funds, because you're using a budget when you're making a financial plan. So if you have a budget, and you have to follow a certain budget based on the projected sales that you have, it will be easier for you to actually make sure that you don't overspend on other things. Like, say, for example, like you get money from the business for more of like food allowances and others. Not to say that you don't have to provide allowances, but actually, for representation expenses, etc., you have to make sure that this actually converts to sales and also provides you profit in the long run. So it's always very important to see, the weight and the usage of funds in terms of um, following a financial plan. And in turn, if you have like a creative, it if it prevents you from imprudent usage, it will also like give you opportunities or allow you to identify expense items that you need to work on or spend on. So, say for example, marketing strategies in social media and so on. Since you have a financial plan, you will see like where are the dips and lows, the highs and lows of your sales forecast, and you can identify which part of the year you should be spending more on effective marketing strategy so that you can pull up, you can increase your sales on a particular period. So having a financial plan is like having, like a tool that can see the future so that you can prepare for it, prepare for challenges. um, Also, a financial plan also includes, projected income statements. So you get to measure projected profit and losses. So it's like, if I earn this much and spend this much, I got this much profit. If I earn this much and I spend this much, I got this much loss. So if you have this clear view of how it's gonna go, you will be able also to, like strategize how will you be able to increase more profit in the long run using a projected income statement. So you know how many products you have to sell at a specific price. You know which expenses you have to minimize so that you can maximize your profit. And definitely, if you're going to have a financial plan, you also have a projected balance sheet, and that also shares with you information about your liabilities and assets. So there's a lot of information about why is it very important, to do financial planning for small entrepreneurs and SMEs. However, it's a challenge for these entrepreneurs to actually start doing it, mainly because they're intimidated. So they don't know how to do it, or they're too busy, or they think their accountant or their bookkeeper is the one who should be doing it. That's why I'll be sharing with you some, key tips and techniques on how to start with your financial plan. So to begin with, of course, you have to plot a financial plan timeline. So as you can see on your screen, the financial plan is being reviewed monthly, quarterly, and you have to start doing it, months before the start of the new cycle of the business or when you start your business. So you can spend at least a month, like researching about the industry, reviewing about what you have done from the past years, and identify the profit, the current growth rates and the profit of your business and the expenses that you have incurred over the years, and then use that as a baseline for your projection of your financial plan for the upcoming year. Of course, you have to also add, details about what are the things that you wanted to achieve. Is it a growth, a market share growth of 5, 10%? And you have to quantify it in terms of profit and sales. So, in terms of like making a financial plan timeline, it's not good to have a financial plan at the beginning and then just wait until the end and review it during the annual review against your financial statement and you're done. No. So you have to do it on a monthly basis. By the end of the month, check your budget, monthly budget, check your monthly projection sales and your expenses against the budgeted and the actual and see the variance. Identify challenges that you might encounter in the next few months and adjust your financial plan accordingly if necessary. So if there are expenses that needs to be increased, go ahead. If you need to increase your sales more than the previous month because you think it's not enough, and you think that the market is different now, then you have to change your financial plan. So it has to be a monthly review process, and you have to also like compare it on a month to month, a quarter to quarter basis. And going to the financial planning 101, the things that I want to share about how to do your financial plan. So you have to remember these mnemonics. So C, I identified here that there's a lot, when I was working with SMEs, there's a lot of SMEs that are commingling their funds. So commingling is meaning you have your personal and your business account in just one account. So that's a big no-no when you're doing financial planning. So my tip for you is to actually use the 50-30-20 rule. It's a rule wherein you have to three bank accounts, so separate personal and business account. So one personal account and two business accounts. So the business accounts will have the savings account and also the operations account. By this way, you'll be able to control the cash flow of your business in a way that you have like a gatekeeper in terms of like using the cash that is available to you. Say for example, in a sale, you were able to have 100,000 one transaction, so you can have 50% saved to a operation savings account wherein you will get the taxes and also other improvements, or other it will save as it will serve as your account wherein you can get um or get the recurring or other costs, costs that are not included in your operations, and save that. So if you need it, then you have cash to spend. And then the 30% we go to your uh, business account, which is your operations account. That's when you get to pay for materials, your salaries, all the direct expenses that are related to that particular transaction. And then the 20% can go to your personal account. As an entrepreneur, as an owner, you also get your fair share of the business because you are different. You are separated from your business, and so that's why you need to also pay yourself. So that's one thing that most entrepreneurs do. They treat the business as their own, and then they don't really divide their bank accounts, and that's gonna mess up a lot of things. So the 50-30-20 rule can be changed depending on the nature of your business, definitely, but have three bank accounts. Second, overspending on unnecessary expenses is a no when you do financial planning, or when you operate your business. Do not spend on unnecessary expenses that are not included in the budget unless it's so important and that can contribute to your income generation. So it can be flexible, but definitely stick on a budget. And set smart financial goals. I've always, shared multiple times earlier that it's very important that what your goals are, and it has to be smart. It needs to be very specific. It needs to be quantified. It needs to be um, achieved in a specific timeline. So it cannot be next year or next the preceding years, or you don't know, maybe within the year but not sure. So you have to be very specific. Is it on the third month, first quarter, third quarter, you finish everything, or um, you have to be also very realistic on that one. And this one thing, and finally, of course, you will have to use templates. Templates are your friends definitely when you're doing financial planning. Because I also encourage SMEs to teach, like to teach themselves on how to do it and not be afraid of learning, because there are a lot of resources that are available to us. If you are using pen and paper, you can use the ones that you see in the internet, online on Excel, and then transport it into pen and paper if you are more I'll say more comfortable with that kind of uh, how to say format. But please do so, because it's gonna be hard for other people to teach if the person who's supposed to do the financial plan is afraid to do or to learn, right? So that's why I'll be sharing with you some links later about a sample business budget template. But on your screen you will see the ones that I usually use, and the ones that I feel like very easy and basic for small entrepreneurs. As you can see, there is a budget template on the left hand side for monthly income. So you can just plot a projected monthly income based on your projected sales and other non-operating income from January to December. Then of course you will also be plotting potential expenses from January to December. Then create another file wherein you can match the cash flow. So inflow, so those are your income, and then outflow, those are the operating expenses and the cost of goods sold, and other things that needs to be spent in order to create your products or services. And on the right hand side, you can see a sample projected income statement for the year. So as you can see, there's like a column on the align items for income and expenses. There is a column for the actual income and expenses, and a column for the budget as well. And then there is a column for the difference. So it's very important, as I mentioned earlier, to review it on a monthly basis to identify what cost, the difference in the budget and the actual. So that when you do another planning and another review on the next month or next quarter, you will prevent losses, or you can still increase your income by actually looking at how the operation is going. So these are just samples of the business template. I'd love to do a one-on-one hopefully, but because of the limited time I cannot do that here. So I will be sharing with you some very important budgeting templates links. I personally use Vertex 42 and Smartsheet. They're very easy to use, and definitely Google Sheets. I think it's very easy as well. So there's a lot of plenty of budget templates out there that are available for free download, and I can share with you, a PDF of this copy. I think I can share that with the Global Chamber. So if you want a copy, just ask them for a copy, and also you can maybe like connect with me on LinkedIn if you want a copy from me as well if you have other questions. So finally, I'm gonna like share with you some words of wisdom from one of my favorite author, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He is actually the author of The Little Prince. He's a French author. So he says here, a go without a plan is just a wish. So if we're gonna like convert it to what we're talking right now, so it's actually a business goal without a financial plan. It's just a wish, So if we don't have any actionable steps, our dreams, it's just a dream and nothing more than wishful thinking. And it's always important for us to actually like produce tangible results. And in order to produce tangible results, If we have like hard work coupled with planning, definitely, then I think we can achieve that. And finally, financial planning, that it actually provides us with numerical logic, for decision making. That's why it's important. So it shows where your business should concentrate, and it well, if you have different resources, they will also help you maximize the effectiveness of your resources, and also to manage your cost. And so efficient financial management coupled with financial planning, it allows you to use your funds to be available for more activities in the future, like say for example marketing. You expand your operations, and also you produce your product, or you do product development, and which in turn will bring growth to your business. And so there's not much I can say more for to convince again people to do financial planning, but definitely for us entrepreneurs and small businesses, even if it's hard, even if it's difficult, please do so, because it will really help you achieve your business goals. And there will always be, people within your network probably, or resources in online that can help you start, or at least create a effective financial plan so you can achieve your desired business goals in the future. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, maybe send me an email if you want to. And I think that's it for now. I hope you learn something from my sharing, and I hope to connect with you soon, and maybe like talk more about the topic with the rest of the team at Global Chamber. Colin.
Excellent. Well done.
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks very
Lycah.
much.
Fantastic.
It's a great review for me for financial planning. Really, so amazing. Yeah. Yeah, Colin, we have some questions from our audience. So again, here, Maxine is one of our early adopter partners. So she's asking, what is the rule on liquidity? How much is best? And how would you decide when is a good thing to loan an amount? And what is the standard rate of interest? She also has a
Okay.
follow-up question, Lycah. So here, when making a projected balance sheet, what are the ways you can make sure that the figures are actually as close to a true projection as possible? So, yep. Thank you, Maxine, for those questions.
Mhm. Okay, so there's a lot of available resources, and a rule of thumb actually in terms of liquidity is you have to have 1.5. So for every 1 peso, say for example, for every 1 peso expenses, you need to have at least 1.5 to pay off. So that's the minimum. So it can, of course, the better 1.5 to 3. That's a good choice. That's a good liquidity ratio. But if it's like over 3, it's gonna be like it's not you're not using your cash in your cash equivalents in a more productive manner. So you're maintaining a lot of cash. That's why 1.5 to 3 is a good liquidity ratio. For banks, I think banks have different, like different rules in terms of like how they check the financial statement, which businesses is more liquid than the other, because it also depends on a certain industry. So there are industries that even though they have a very low liquidity ratios because it's like capital intensive, then even if it's low, they're okay with it. But as a rule of thumb, 1.5 and 3 should be fine. Yeah. And
Here's the next question. Yeah. So on the when making a balance sheet, what are the ways you can make sure that the figures are actually as close to a true projection as possible? So
okay, so when you are doing a balance sheet and a prediction, so my this is just my personal rule. If it's not over 10%, then it's still okay. So if it increases to 10%, I feel like it's gonna be, you need to really look at the reasons why there is that huge difference in your actual and also your budgeted amount, and identify how you can minimize it. So again, that those are just a basis, especially for service, for service companies or businesses. It can be lower, but for manufacturing and other businesses, it can probably be 10 to 15%. So it can be like that, because there's a lot of external factors that will actually like affect your business operation when you're doing manufacturing. Yeah. So
That's good, really. Yeah. So yeah, Colin, just anything that left out? Again, for me, it's a review of financial planning, and of course, and its
Well,
importance in running your business, right? So
well, first of all, like I thought you did an outstanding job. It was very well presented and very clear. And the advice I always give to people, especially because we know a lot of the folks who watch these episodes, they watch it after they don't necessarily watch it live. I just
mhm,
want to remind those who are watching it live that this will be available for replay both on Facebook and YouTube. And what you ought to do with Lycah's information, and I think the same applies to previous episodes, is get your notepad out or your laptop, whatever, and go back through each slide and then pay attention to what is the message of that point that is being made, and then what action do you need to take yourself, right? Because we're really trying to make this like a not just a webinar. We're calling this a coaching series. We're trying to coach
yeah.
people, into taking action around the business. So that's just yeah. I just wanted to make that comment while it was fresh in my mind that I really thought there's such powerful information that you presented there, and I really don't want people to think. I always say it's not food for thought. It's food for action. So
Hmm.
don't think about it. Do it and do something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
when they mentioned about like the study that I shared earlier, and when it says about lack of financial literacy and also lack of financial discipline. So
Mhm.
it's not just financial literacy, actually it's actually just also another layer, financial discipline. So even if you do your financial plan and have a comprehensive plan for your business, if you don't follow it, and if
Yes.
you don't like apply it, then then there's no it's gonna be difficult for you to actually achieve the goals that you're having at the first place. So always like you need to be very disciplined as well, not just technically knowledgeable about how to do financial planning. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Deshan, I saw you nodding your head so many times because
Yeah.
I think like is speaking your language. What
That-
you do with that business enabling toolbox, I think is, really trying to take a lot of these ideas, put them into practice and have that discipline. So maybe you could react to what Lycah just said and also her presentation and then any questions you have for her.
No, definitely. I think, Colin, you're right. Nodding my head because very often we see that there's a disjoint between a businesses operating and the financial element of it, right? Businesses should be functioning in collaboration with one another. And very often you find, especially with the many solopreneurs that have come up now during the pandemic and through other constraints, be it political, economical, or whatever the case may be, you don't find the marrying of the two. And what you've said, it was a fantastic presentation, and what you've basically explained is that just that, everything within your business should be in a collaborative manner, and you should be budgeting based on what the operations are within your organization, and keep revisiting that. Because if you look at if COVID, for example, it's a hot topic. We've been chatting about it for over a year now.
Mhm.
You've had to relook that every week, if not every day, because of how things have been changing with regards to lockdowns and pivoting your business model and all those sorts of things. And that has an impact on everything else that you do from a budgeting point of view and from a finance point of view. And I
Yeah.
think Colin and Sam and Lycah, having you as our last speaker sort of just brings together everything that we've been speaking about for the past 9 weeks, because we spoke about entrepreneurship and planning. We spoke about the legal and the regulatory compliance and all those elements within an organization. But ultimately, to have that now feature within your business, you need to now put down the figures, and you need to budget to actually speak and hold yourself honest and accountable for how much you need to spend within the various areas of your organization. And you've done that really great with your budgeting example, because that's exactly it. Very often we find that we've pulled in so many different directions because we've got very little to do a lot, especially as a solopreneur starting out, or whatever the case may be. And
Right.
without having a sight of a budget or having something written down, you
Mm.
actually lose sight of where you should be spending your resources, be it financially, be it from a timing point of view, where you should be, further outsourcing, for the lack of a better word. And I really, really enjoyed your presentation, because you brought all of that together, and it really, encompasses everything we've been trying to bring across in the last the last 9 episodes.
Yeah, good to know. Like as I mentioned in the presentation earlier, like the beginning, my motivation is actually to make sure that they understand like what financial planning is all about, and also get inspired and get motivated to do it. Because even if we share a lot of information, a lot of resources, if people are not motivated to do it just because they don't see the importance of it, then that's the problem. That's where the problem starts. And we don't want to have, like after like 100 entrepreneurs in 2021, and then have, after a year we only have 50, because they didn't know how to manage their business, and then they lose everything that they invested in there because of lack of financial planning. So that's one thing that we wanted to, like improve, especially because we are working with a lot of SMEs, in our business, in our countries, especially in the Philippines. Like 99%, businesses are SMEs.
And you're right, because I think it's not understanding and wanting them, your SMEs to become professional accountants or CPAs or whatever the case may be. It's for them to understand the decisions they make within their business and the impact of these decisions. And the
Mhm.
only way that you can really look at that is when you actually have, for example, again, I'll go back to your budgeting template, because should you not have that available, you will not understand the impact of what it actually
Mhm.
does to the profitability of your organization, and what the pros and cons of making those decisions and the impact would be within your organization. So, again, it definitely, very, very worthwhile and relevant information.
Mhm.
I particularly like the cost acronym, specifically the first one, like don't commingle your personal and your business funds, and also doing
Definitely.
the 50, 30, and 20. That's a good reminder for us, especially in our community we have a lot of micro, like those are the solopreneurs, and even small and medium enterprises. Again, there's that temptation really to like
Yeah,
spend
you use it for your personal use, and then you don't have anything for the business anymore. So if
correct,
you
correct.
have, yeah, like having one personal account, personal a bank account for personal and business is a big no-no. So
Mm,
even if it takes, it just takes less than, I don't know, 2 hours to go to the bank, open a business account,
mm,
and that will help you actually like manage your finances, like personal and business finances in the future. And that helped me a lot as well. That's why I am sharing those tips. So and you will be able to actually separate yourself from your business, even if
mm.
it's you are a solo entrepreneur or a sole proprietor. And that's a start of beginning of a mindset that is a business is separate from you. That's gonna help you also like manage your accounts, manage your finances effectively. Yeah.
Definitely, Colin and Deshaun, like the person that came to my mind is actually Tim Cook of Apple, right? So he took over Steve Jobs, right? And then a lot of people were like, "What is this finance guy going to do?" Right? So, but ultimately, because of that financial discipline, I mean, he was able to continue and even grew Apple, beyond what was expected of him, right? So again, so financial planning can, of course, definitely works with small businesses and even multinational trillion-dollar businesses like Apple, right? So yeah, kudos to all financial, persons there. We cannot live without you, right? So
You
Like
know that
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. I just want to add that I just don't want like SMEs and entrepreneurs to fear financials. Like they have to embrace it because it's going to be a part of their business when they're small, when they're micro, small, medium, until they become very large. So they have to know when they're small, if they already know how to manage their finances, what more if they become bigger, right? So they have to start right now and learn from people around them, ask questions, read resources online, watch YouTube video. There's a lot of information. If you need a consultant's point of view, please talk to a consultant, invest on consulting firm, so that you'll be able to really like understand and learn, and also learn a new skill for yourself. Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
important.
absolutely, absolutely. And I want to pick up on something you just said, which is, yes, at first the challenge is, the startup and being able to go and to grow. But then I think a lot of people suddenly get surprised that oftentimes the reasons why business fail is because of their success, ironically, because when you start to grow rapidly, they don't realize how much cash it consumes when you grow, especially if you're getting paid after the fact, right? For your
Definitely. Yeah.
products, right?
Yep.
And so, actually, if I look back at my business ventures, the times that were toughest when we were growing the fastest because we were rapidly running out of cash. And can you say something about that? How should you plan for, quote unquote, a capital expense? Even like these home businesses now that are doing like home bakeries and things like that, they may need to start buying additional ovens and additional, equipment and things like that as they grow. So, how do you plan for growth, and how do you set aside or the funds for growth?
I think going back to the basics of financial planning, when you do your forecast, so when you forecast your sales and also forecast your expenses, you have to make sure that it actually matches. Like if you're going to sell this much, and most probably you're gonna spend this much, right? If you're going to expand this much, probably you also need to purchase equipment. You think about purchasing equipment, maybe hiring more people, so you always need to match your expenses to your sales, to your projected sales. So if you like, just in case it happens, like actual, you didn't really foresee that your sales will shoot up 200 times or 300 times, then most probably your expenses will probably shoot up that much as well. So you have to make sure that it matches, and also give some buffer. That's why I encourage saving. Like if you have there is a time in your business where you have peaks, like peaks, sales peaks, and there are also times that you don't have any sales. That's why you have to save at least 50%. You don't have to like give off yourself like maybe 50% for me because I sold so much. No, give 50% to your business first, and keep that. So when something happen, like a challenge, financial challenge, COVID happens, at least you still have money that you have been saved. That's 50% from how many months ago that you can pay the people around you, or you can probably use that to spend for equipment and expand your business. So
Exactly.
following that rule, it'll be easier for you to actually manage your finances.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And the way that you told us that you need to review your financial plan every month, right? So
definitely.
it becomes breathing to you, right? Meaning it becomes natural, it becomes a habit, right? So
Mhm.
that I really love that the financial plan,
The
a monthly,
timeline.
monthly, quarterly, and maybe half, right? And then end of the year. So let's take this one last question. This one's also related to our community because we have a lot of startups. Then Maxine asks, how would it be different for a seed funding deck for angel investors? So if you're a startup and you're looking for funding, right? So
Mhm.
a financial, slide or even several slides is essential, right? Because that's one of the things that investors are going to look at, your financial health. So, in your experience in working with startups, maybe like, can you share with us, what again the importance of having a financial discipline?
Yeah, so it's very, as I shared, like part of the financial planning actually is when you do projected financial statements. And it's when you do projected financial statements, you cannot just put their numbers. You cannot just put their whatever you want. especially if you're a startup. So there should be like a corresponding reason. And in terms of like your resources, the resources that are available to you, like your capital, the people that you're employing, the industry as a whole, like how what's the profitability of that industry, and you should be able to make sure that your company be able to achieve those goals in terms of the projections that you have presented to an angel investor, for example. So for an angel investor, I know that they have a lot of information about a certain industry, so you cannot dupe them. So you have to be honest, actually, depending on your, like, it's honesty in projection, honesty is key. So you have to make sure that you're honest about your capabilities and the capability of the business or the startup that you are doing. And if there are like certain, expenses that you think like too big, bigger, that needs bigger capital and stuff, you have to also declare that one. And how will you be able to recover those expenses as you work through the business? Maybe not a year, second year, third year, but include that in your
Yeah.
financial projection. So it's quite tricky. I know sometimes when you say projected financial statement, you say it's bloated. You can just bloat it, whatever. But like to be in finance, you have to be very honest. It's quite hard. Yeah, it's quite hard to be honest, but you have to make sure that these the details that you share there are based on your capabilities and also achievable, and also considers the industry growth. Other
Yeah.
companies are already there, so you must be able to know,
Right.
and you can use them as a peg. You know.
Yeah, that's so true. Sam, I can see we really need to book like again for season two. What do you think?
Definitely, like
Definitely.
a deep dive on financial planning is essential, especially during these times, right? I mean, we're now in the midst of the pandemic. There's a recession that's happening, but there are sectors, right, that are growing, right?
Yes.
So at the same time, I know some entrepreneurs who have experienced hyper growth during this pandemic because they were in the right industry. So again, if you're a one-man show, suddenly you have a 1 million peso or 10 million peso business. What are you going to do with all of those money, right? So again, these are the good problems that we have. Similarly, for those who are financially challenged right now, where do you cut corners? Where do you, for example, invest? Like, how do you, for example, keep the people? Like, so there's a lot of financial, solutions that we are looking at right now as entrepreneurs during this pandemic. And then again, to help us bounce back better, like I shared with us, there's a lot of best practice, that she has shared, in her presentation that we should adopt as entrepreneurs in Colin and Dishen. So, yep, it's just my, like really inspired by Lycah's presentation, back to basics of finance. Really. So,
Well, yeah, I totally agree. So like the time has flown by too fast. So I can really tell you
Yeah.
we'll be reaching out. This is season one. We're planning to do a season two already. We'd love to have you again. I think there's so much more that we can explore. We didn't even get a chance to talk to you about your own venture, so that we
mhm.
can reserve that for next time. But we'll definitely put a link to your Facebook page if we haven't already done so.
Yeah.
And I really encourage people to reach out to you and to get more information about how they can be assisted. So
Yep.
thank you very
And
much
yep.
for joining us.
Sure.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lycah. Yes.
Colin. Thank you, Sam and Dishan. So
Like, yeah,
if you guys need the PDF copy of the presentation, I can just share it with you.
Excellent.
And if there are people who wants to like um, add me on LinkedIn and ask for that, feel free to just message me. I can just share that with you as
Yeah.
well. No
yeah.
problem.
We share
Yeah.
your email
Actually,
address. Yeah.
Sam, I'll just tell Lycah that, and I know you're going to talk in a few minutes about the digital badge that we're doing. So, um, Lycah, feel free to stick around and hear those announcements. But we'll definitely be reaching out to you for maybe information that we can include in our digital badge as well. So I'll be in contact with you tomorrow about that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Lycah.
Thank you,
Lycah on
Lycah.
the BounceBack Network and the Global Chamber in BET. Thank you very much for your time, Lycah. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
Yep. Gentlemen, let me share my screen. So this is our, you know, our final episode, our finale. Colin, and Dishen, right? Normally in series like the final episode, we like that there's a big bang. But again, we're gonna stress the importance of being financially disciplined. If you're an entrepreneur. But then again, thank you very much, BounceBack Network, and of course our friends at that Global Chamber and Dishen for BET that has now taken through. So, Colin, this has been our journey. This season, right? So again, let me give it to you, my friend. So really how you have designed this, to benefit our fellow entrepreneurs at the BounceBack Network. Really is like, exemplary. It's like, it's a full master class, at the same time tying all of these together and then helping our entrepreneurs, fellow entrepreneurs to bounce back better than ever and to build a global business, right? So all of this really tied up well. And then thank you to our speakers. So maybe Colin, like take them all again. So
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. Well, first, I'd like to thank you, for getting us started down this journey, especially with the competency framework that you put together with BounceBack Network for the competencies that people need to have. And then we tried to take that and craft a roadmap. And so I hope the audience has enjoyed this. I always like to say to everyone, because I know we have new people every week, that don't just listen to today's episode. All of the previous 9, including and then today, so all 10 are available to you, via our Facebook page that Sam will be talking about in a moment. And I think you can see that there really is a method behind the journey that we've taken you through. Kicking off with what it takes to be successful, and then working your way through things like innovation and global growth, and then the marketing side and strategy, how to be a great leader, how to use data to your advantage through analytics. We had that great talk from Cherrilyn and Michelle from Analytics Association. And then we even went in and talked about AI, and then we wrapped up with the very important topics of the compliance side, and then now, of course, with finance, and probably the most important topic of them all, because without managing your business financially, you won't have a business. So this is the roadmap we've been through, and it's all designed around this certified global entrepreneur. So Sam, why don't you tell folks about that?
yeah, yep, you have to catch all of these talks. They're actually they're recorded, so you can watch them on Facebook and YouTube. And we're going to upload the exam soon. Okay, so after this season ender, we're going to take a short break, and within that, we're going to focus on helping you to be a certified global entrepreneur, Adept. If you will again rewatch all of these, teachings or entrepreneur courses on our learning management platform through BounceBack Academy, we're going to again post the links. And if you pass all of the exams, that will be, of course, that came from our speakers, including Colin and Dishan, then you'll be able to get this badge. This is a bigger one. This is the beginning of your journey to become a global entrepreneur. So beginning with the Adept, this is the season 1. For seasons 2 and 3, probably we're going to introduce the expert certification, and hopefully the master certification several seasons down. Again, you'll be better than Colin, Deshaun, and myself, after you finish this course. So, and of course, we'll be with you as you build your global business. And again, during the break, we're going to also focus on the early adopter program, which is going to talk about later. Again, thank you to our partners, Bluepoint Foundation. They're going to provide the learning management system and, of course, the digital badges. They're a 22-year-old training and certification foundation founded by former Senator Jovita Salonga. Thank you again, Maggie and Engels Antonio, for your selflessness and your support to the BounceBack Network and, of course, to the Global Entrepreneurship Program. Thank you also to Dominguez PR. Again, Mel Dominguez and Ten Feliciano, thank you very much for helping us. Please expect us to write stories for our media friends, and hopefully some of our media friends can take the exam too and become certified global entrepreneurs. Similarly, again, this is our Facebook page. Please go to Global Entrep PH. And also, this is our Facebook group. Most of our EAP or early adopter programs are members of the group. And I think some of them are watching right now. Again, shout out to Maxine, and of course, some of our those who posted. Let me post Christian here. Hi, Christian. There. So, Vishen's one of your EAP, as EAP members. And Colin, so back to you.
Yes, so we would love to help you if you would like to grow not only here locally, but within the region, within ASEAN, around the world, South Africa, right, Dushan, into Europe, into the United States. So, our Global Chamber, if you don't know who we are, you can go to our website, globalchamber.org, or you can go to our page on Facebook. It's very easy, just search for Global Chamber Manila. You can also private message us through the Facebook page. And so we have a very large network of people that are trying to help each other. We make warm connections so that you can grow your business. And as was just Sam just flashed up a moment ago, we have a very special offer where we're offering half off on your first year membership because we know during these times of the pandemic, money is fairly tight. So we'd like to help you out with that as well. So if you'd like to take us up on that, don't use the join membership through the website because you'll get charged full price. Just DM us on our Facebook page, and then we will definitely help you out to avail of the half off membership. So thanks, Sam, for the opportunity.
I think we call it. It's like there's over 500 cities, right? That and really growing cities because we've seen how global chamber. Some of our speakers actually shared their solutions, right? And in fact, our flagship solution for this season, the Business Living Toolbox, is also a Global Chamber Global certified solution. So, Dishen, again, thank you very much for the Business Living Toolbox. You've shared a lot to the community. And so please be tell them about BET, although we'll have your video later at the end of the show. So,
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Sam. And it's bittersweet, right? The last episode, but I think bigger things coming in season two that we're looking forward to planning. And again, as Collins mentioned, should you have any suggestions for season two, any topics that you would like to us to specifically cover, please through our groups post these and let's have a conversation. I think over and above the solution or BET and the global chamber, what we're trying to form is a community and of entrepreneurs and like-minded individuals and businesses. And with that being said, where we come in with BET is that over the years we exactly reinforcing what Lycah has mentioned is that there are many ideas that could not be commercialized because of the lack of know-how to do it, and lack of know-how from a business standpoint as well as from a financial standpoint. And BET sort of encompasses that in a single platform where it teaches and mentors aspiring entrepreneurs, startups, and SMEs to do exactly that. It's an all-in-one business companion, as we call it, where it teaches you the what, why, and how, what needs to be done within your organization, why it needs to be done, and most importantly, how. Because I think without the how, as like I alluded to earlier, you can't really get sight of what's happening within your organization, and your business would not really sustain longer than a year, and you would be part of the shocking statistics for SMEs on a global scale. So as part of that initiative, it was a no-brainer, and it's so synergistic for us to form the relationship with BounceBack and Global Chamber, and furthermore offer a 70% discount on our grow plans to the BounceBack communities far and wide. BET currently supports thousands of businesses across the globe on various continents, and we thought that this is going to be a great initiative to help businesses through the tough times that they're currently experiencing now. And furthermore, we've pledged through our partnership with the Global Chamber, BounceBack, and BET that 10% of all proceeds from subscriptions would actually go through to COVID relief in the Philippines. To just another way for us to give back wherever we can.
yeah, thank you for this one. And again, it's a big help, really, Dishan, right? You've also given us several licenses for our early adopter programs and for our media partners. So probably we'll introduce that in season two, maybe a different format, right? But again, those of you who are on our early adopter program, please maximize it. And also at the same time, please don't be shy to engage Dishan, myself, and Colin if you need help in your businesses. We're just the messages in the group. So, and also shout out to our interns who are helping us. Of course, Nuri, Karil, and Kat. Kat is the one who's our point person for the early adopter program. So she has posted the message actually in our group recently. Okay. So again, see you in season two. So again, we'll take a short breather, right? Colin and Dishen. So, and they're also going to launch the online exams for the digital batch, and hopefully a lot of you will take that. And so again, our final words, my friends, just to I'm going to bring back our there our big screen. So really, it has been a journey again, and I'm glad that taking this journey, Colin and Dishan, rather than just we could have been doing other stuff Wednesday afternoon, right? But again, thank you for your your time investment, your talent investment and resource investment to our community. And I know we have helped a lot. They may just be quiet right now, but amidst all of these journey and these challenges, so to still continue to experience, we believe that we could be able to bounce back better than ever, through the help of partners like Global Chamber and BET. So again, on behalf of my colleague and the founder of BounceBack, Jason Delorsa, thank you very much to Global Chamber and BET. We appreciate, how you've helped us and how you've nurtured the community this past 12 weeks, right? So thank you very much. Again, Colin Deshen, maybe final words before we, end our season, right? So
Definitely. If I may, Colin, I think entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, as I mentioned in my first talk. And I think the most important thing and what you got to remember is, your purpose, why you actually chose to become an entrepreneur. I think that answers a lot of questions, and you will be tested and you will be tried on a daily basis. You would be taken out of your comfort zones. But whatever you do, you have to act with intent. I think that's the most important thing. You've got to be intentional about whatever you do within your organization. And most importantly, understand the decisions that you're making. Yes, you're going to be pulled in many different directions within your organization, but always bring yourself back and act with intent. And understand the repercussions of your decisions that you make within your organization. It is difficult. We learn on a daily basis, through the many speakers that we've had, through the many conversations that we have. You're constantly learning, and you have to be open to that because you will never know enough. And I think, another point that I want to make is learning. You've got to be constantly learning on a daily basis, either from your colleagues, your friends, your family, that are entrepreneurs or not, because very often you find that complex situations have the easiest sort of solutions, the most simplest solutions, and they're right in front of you. But because your mindset is constantly focused on being pulled in the various areas within your organization, you can't really see that. So, act with intent, learn every day, collaborate, and network, and that's what our community is there for. Our community is there to assist you with exactly that, so that you do not walk this journey on your own. And wherever we can, we'd be right there walking the journey with you together.
Well said. Well said,
Thank you.
Deshan, and also Sam. I really think I won't say much more than what you said, Sam and Deshan. You've summed up really well. So I'll just leave it to say I'm very grateful to all the people behind the scenes that make this possible, to our interns that you already recognize, to our partners. I just add, I think that if you are intentional, if you do, as Deshan said, if you do persevere with all of, there's nothing like the satisfaction that you can get once it all comes together. It may take months, it may take years, but and you may fail, you may succeed, but there's tremendous satisfaction that you take if you put the energy into it. Then you gain, you will grow, and you will gain a lot. So I look forward to our next season, Sam, and wish the audience well in the meantime.
Yep, definitely. We'll change our hairdo, man. So again, thank you, BounceBack Network, for investing your time. Please, again, do watch out for our announcements for the exams. We're excited to bring that over to you. Colin, Deshan, this is the first show among our shows, right? Where we're going to roll out, our digital badges. So excited to, to serve that and to share that with our community. Again, once again, I'm Sanju Koba. In fact, on behalf of my good friend and colleagues, Colin Christie and Deshan Maharaj, for the BounceBack Network, no business is too small to go global. Don't forget that. Good evening, everyone.
Do you want to have
Bye.
the foresight of Warren Buffett or Steve Jobs? Growing your business couldn't be easier. BET's unique and easy-to-use platform is your ultimate business companion. Available whenever you need it, no matter where you are, 24/7.
And who wouldn't want their business to do better? Whether you want to expand, increase sales, or spread out to new locations, it's important to know what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how you should do it.
BET gives you all the essential tools that you need to maximize your profits. Keep track of your finances. Target the right customers. Become an exceptional leader. Assess risk. And set goals for your business. Cross-device functionality and a comprehensive toolbox of downloadable pre-populated templates are just some of the benefits of BET.
Let BET show you the what, why, and how of setting achievable goals for your business.